Hey everyone, welcome to my channel and thank you so much for tuning in today. If you're new here, I'm really happy you found this video, and if you've been here before, welcome back. I hope you're doing great. So, today's topic is how I learned English in 3 months without a teacher. Yes, you heard that right. No classes, no teacher, no tuition. Just me, my phone, a lot of mistakes, and a little courage. Now, before I begin, I just want to say one thing. If you're someone who thinks learning English is impossible without expensive courses or native teachers, I totally understand how you feel. I was exactly like that. I felt shy. I made mistakes. I thought English was not for people like me. But the truth is, it's 100% possible. If I can do it, you can too. So, in this video, I'm going to share exactly how I did it, step by step. Real, raw, honest. No magic, just real talk. And I promise by the end of this podcast, you'll feel inspired, motivated, and most importantly, you'll know how to start. All right, let's dive in. Why I needed to learn English first? Let me take you back a little. I'm from a small town. You know, the kind of place where most people speak only in the local language. English was always around me, in books, movies, songs, but I never really used it. I studied in a regular school. We had English as a subject, but it was more about grammar rules, writing letters, memorizing essays, not speaking. So when I completed school, I could understand English. Kind of. But speaking? Oh, that was a different story. I would freeze if someone talked to me in English. I couldn't form a sentence. I was scared of being judged. Then one day, I saw a job post. It was my dream job, but it clearly said, "Fluent in English required." That line hit me hard. That was the moment I said to myself, enough. I'm going to learn English no matter what, no matter how. But I had no money to join an institute. I didn't have access to a native speaker, no language partner, just my determination and internet. The first week, starting from zero confidence, I started by admitting one truth to myself. I'm going to make a lot of mistakes. Once I accepted that, everything became easier. So, here's what I did in the first week. I opened YouTube. I typed basic English conversations. That's it. Nothing fancy. Just listen to conversations. Hi, how are you? I'm fine, thank you. Simple lines. But I listened again and again. I would play the video, pause it, and repeat the lines out loud. Even if I sounded funny. Even if my pronunciation was wrong. I didn't stop. I practiced when I was alone, in the kitchen, in the bathroom while walking. I literally talked to myself. Yes, I became that crazy person who talks to herself all the time. But you know what? That craziness works. The magic of speaking alone. Let me be honest with you. If you wait for someone to practice with you, you'll wait forever. So, I started practicing alone. I would look at the mirror and talk. For example, I would say, "Hi, my name is Ria. I'm learning English today. I feel happy. I went to the market. I bought vegetables." Very basic stuff. But I kept doing it every single day. And this habit, this mirror speaking, changed my life. Because I wasn't just learning vocabulary, I was building confidence. I was telling my brain, It's okay. You can speak. You don't need to be perfect. No grammar books, only real-life sentences. Another thing I stopped doing, I stopped worrying about grammar. Look, grammar is important. I'm not saying ignore it completely, but if you're always thinking about rules while speaking, you'll freeze. So I decided, let me focus on real-life sentences. For example, instead of learning the grammar rule for present continuous tense, I just memorized sentences like, I am eating, I am studying, I am watching TV. That's it. I didn't ask myself why am or why ing. I just copied real sentences and used them. Slowly, my brain started recognizing patterns. After some time, it became natural. So remember this. Use the language first. Understand the rules later. Creating my own English environment. Now, since I had no teacher or English-speaking friends, I had to create my own English world. Here's how I did it. Changed my phone language to English. Started thinking in English, like when I was cooking, I'd say, in my mind, now I'm cutting tomatoes, now I'm adding salt. Watched only English videos with subtitles. Followed English pages on Instagram. Read out loud everything. Like newspaper headlines, product labels, even shampoo bottles. I surrounded myself with English so much that my brain had no choice but to absorb it. Speaking to myself all the time, one more secret. I became my own conversation partner. I would ask myself questions and then answer them. Example, oh, I woke up at 7 a.m., brushed my teeth, had tea. What will you do tomorrow? I will go to the market. I will clean my room. I will study English. These small self-conversations helped me a lot, and I still do them. Recording my voice, the game changer. One day I recorded myself speaking English and I listened to it. I sounded weird. I was slow. I mispronounced some words. But I didn't delete the recording. I kept it. The next week, I recorded again and again. After a month, I listened to my first recording and compared it with the new one. The difference was huge. So please, start recording your voice. Don't be shy. This is your best mirror. It helps you catch your mistakes and improve your flow. Daily routine. How I practiced each day. You might be wondering, how did I manage my time? Here was my daily plan during those 3 months. Morning, 15 minutes. Listen to English podcasts while brushing teeth or making tea. Afternoon, 30 minutes. Watch one English conversation video on YouTube. Evening, 20 minutes. Speak in front of the mirror. Night, 15 minutes. Write one paragraph about my day in English and read it out loud. That's it. Just 1 to 1.5 hours a day, but consistently every single day. No breaks, no excuses. I used these free resources, YouTube channels like English Addict, Speak English with Mr. Steve, Learn English with Movies apps like Hello English, Duolingo, and Cake. Podcasts like the English We Speak and Speak Better English, Instagram Reels and Shorts with subtitles. Super helpful for picking up natural phrases. All free, all effective. What I avoided completely. There were also a few things I didn't do, and I think that helped me move faster. I didn't compare myself with others. I didn't wait for someone to correct me. I didn't aim for perfection. I didn't memorize big vocabulary lists. I didn't focus on grammar rules. Instead, I just used the language like a child. Learn by doing. The results after 3 months. After 3 months, I wasn't perfect, but I was confident. I could hold a basic conversation, talk about my day, express my feelings, watch English movies without subtitles, write Instagram captions in English, attend job interviews without fear. And guess what? I got the job. The interviewer said, "Your English is not perfect, but your confidence is impressive." That sentence changed everything. What I learned from this journey: learning English without a teacher taught me more than just a language. It taught me discipline, courage to make mistakes, how to learn anything independently, the power of consistency. You don't need perfect grammar. You don't need to sound like a native speaker. You just need to express yourself. That's it. So, if you're starting today, here's what I want to tell you. Heart to heart. Don't wait for the perfect time. Don't wait for a teacher. Don't wait for confidence. Start now. Speak now. Make mistakes now. Grow now. Because 3 months from today, you'll thank yourself. Okay, so before we wrap up today's podcast, there's a lot more I want to share with you. Learning English without a teacher wasn't always a smooth ride, and there were moments when I doubted myself, moments that ultimately became my greatest lessons. Let's continue with that story. Deep dive into the challenges. I'll be honest. Learning English on my own meant facing a few real challenges head-on. Here are some of the hurdles I encountered and how I managed to overcome them. 1. Overcoming the fear of speaking. There were days when my mind would just freeze. I'd have brilliant ideas in my head, but when it came to speaking them aloud, my tongue would tie up. I kept thinking, what if I sound silly? What if I get laughed at? How I beat it. I started by accepting that mistakes are an essential part of learning. I began with short sentences and gradually increased my speaking time. I found that the more I practiced, the less those fears controlled me. I even recorded my progress, and each playback reminded me of how far I'd come, even if it felt like I was just mumbling at first. 2. Staying motivated on tough days. There were times when I felt stuck, like nothing was clicking. On those days, every word felt like a mountain to climb. How I beat it: I set small, achievable goals. For instance, one day my goal was just to learn 5 new words and use them in a sentence. On another day, it was to watch a short video without subtitles. I celebrated each little win, and over time those small victories added up to massive improvements. 3. Dealing with plateaus. Learning a language isn't a straight path. It's full of ups and downs. There were moments when I felt I wasn't improving at all. My progress would plateau and frustration would creep in. How I beat it: I changed my routine. Instead of the same old methods, I mixed in different types of content: podcasts, audiobooks, even interactive language games. Switching up my practice not only refreshed my interest, but also exposed me to new vocabulary and idiomatic expressions. Enhancing my English through creative practices, I discovered that creative methods made learning English not only effective, but also fun. Here are some techniques that added a spark to my daily practice. 1. Storytelling sessions with myself every night. I'd spend a few minutes telling myself a short story in English. Sometimes it was about my day. Sometimes it was completely fictional. A tale about a talking cat or an adventurous trip to a distant land. This helped me learn narrative structures, practice past and future tenses, and most importantly, expand my vocabulary in a creative way. 2. Using music and lyrics. I'm a huge fan of music. So I started listening to my favorite English songs and reading their lyrics. I'd sing along, try to mimic the pronunciation, and even write my own interpretations of the songs. This exercise was not only enjoyable, but it also improved my listening skills and helped me grasp the rhythm and flow of the language. 3. Engaging with social media. Social media became my informal English classroom. I followed influencers and content creators who spoke in clear, everyday English. I commented on their posts, engaged in discussions, and even joined online groups where people shared language tips. This real-time interaction was invaluable. It pushed me to write and respond quickly, which enhanced my fluency. 4. Journaling and reflection. I started keeping an English journal, not just to document my day, but to reflect on my progress. Every week, I'd reread my entries and note down recurring mistakes or phrases that I could improve. Over time, I saw patterns in my language use, and this self-awareness helped me refine my skills further. Learning beyond the basics, embracing nuance and expression. Once I got comfortable with basic sentences and everyday vocabulary, I knew I had to go further. True language mastery isn't just about being understood. It's about expression, nuance, and cultural context. 1. Understanding idioms and expressions. English is full of idioms, phrases that don't make sense if you translate them word for word. I made it a point to learn a few idioms every week. For example, I learned phrases like break the ice or spill the beans, and I practiced using them in context. Over time, these expressions became part of my natural speech, and they even added a bit of flair to my conversations. 2. Mastering the art of small talk. Small talk may seem trivial, but it's a key component of everyday English conversation. I focused on learning conversation starters and fillers like, by the way, or, you know what I mean. These little phrases helped me connect with people on a more personal level, making interactions smoother and more engaging, mimicking native speakers. I remember the first time I watched an interview with a native speaker, their intonation, their pauses, the way they emphasized certain words. It was like a whole new world. I began mimicking these patterns by watching interviews, then pausing and repeating after them. This not only improved my pronunciation, but also gave me a better feel for the natural flow of English. The role of mistakes and feedback. One of the most important lessons I learned was that mistakes aren't failures, they're stepping stones. 1. Embracing mistakes as learning opportunities. Every time I mispronounced a word or used the wrong tense, I saw it as a chance to learn. I kept a mistake diary where I'd jot down common errors. Over time, I could see my patterns, and this helped me work on my weaknesses. 2. Seeking feedback without fear. Even though I was learning on my own, I didn't shy away from feedback. I would sometimes share a voice note with a friend who was a bit more proficient in English, asking for gentle corrections. Their feedback, no matter how small, was gold. It helped me adjust and refine my speaking style. 3. Using technology as a teacher. There are several language apps with built-in correction tools. I would record my speech and let the app analyze it for mistakes. The visual feedback on pronunciation and intonation was incredibly useful. Over time, I started to notice improvements not just in my speech but in my confidence as well. Building a sustainable learning habit. One of the secrets to my success was consistency. I want to share some strategies I use to make English practice a natural part of my everyday routine. 1. Setting a fixed schedule. I dedicated specific times of the day for English practice, and I treated them like important appointments. Whether it was early morning or late at night, those moments became my personal English hour. Knowing that I had that set time helped me stay disciplined. 2. Creating a reward system. Learning a language is a marathon, not a sprint. To keep my motivation high, I set up a small reward system. For every milestone, like successfully having a 10-minute conversation or watching an entire English movie without subtitles, I treated myself to something special. It could be a favorite snack, a break to do something I love, or even just a pat on my own back. 3. Finding a community of learners. Even though I was learning independently, I wasn't alone. I joined online forums and social media groups where people shared their own language learning experiences. These communities offered support, tips, and even friendly challenges to keep me on track. Interacting with others who were on the same journey reminded me that progress, no matter how slow, was still progress. 4. Integrating English into daily life. Instead of thinking of English practice as an isolated task, I wove it into my daily routine. When I was cooking, cleaning, or commuting, I'd narrate my actions in English. This constant casual exposure turned learning into a part of my lifestyle rather than an additional chore. Reflecting on the journey, emotional growth, and personal change. Learning English in 3 months wasn't just about acquiring a new language, it was a transformative experience that reshaped my entire outlook on learning and self-improvement. 1. Gaining self-confidence. Before I embarked on this journey, I was terrified of speaking up in public or expressing my thoughts in a foreign language. Now I feel empowered. Every conversation, every interaction is a reminder that I can overcome challenges. My newfound confidence has spilled over into other areas of my life, making me more outgoing and self-assured. 2. Learning to embrace imperfection. I used to believe that perfection was the goal. But through this process, I realized that the beauty of communication lies in its imperfection. Every misstep is an opportunity to learn. Embracing imperfection has allowed me to communicate more naturally and authentically. 3. understanding the value of persistence. There were countless days when I felt like giving up, but pushing through those moments taught me that persistence is the key to mastery. The consistency and resilience I developed during these 3 months are now a part of who I am. Whether it's learning a new skill or facing personal challenges, I know that persistence always pays off. 4. Broadening my horizons. Learning English opened up a world of opportunities. I started connecting with people from different cultures, exploring new ideas, and even considering travel in ways I hadn't before. It wasn't just about a language. It was about stepping out of my comfort zone and growing as a person. Additional tips for aspiring learners. For anyone out there who's inspired to take on this challenge, here are some extra tips that might help you along the way. 1. Use visual aids. Pictures, flashcards, and even sticky notes around your house labeled in English can constantly remind you of new words and phrases. The visual association reinforces memory and helps you recall terms in everyday situations. 2. Diversify your media consumption. Don't limit yourself to one type of content. Mix it up with podcasts, YouTube videos, audiobooks, and even English news channels. Each medium offers a different flavor of the language: formal, informal, conversational, and technical. This variety keeps your learning experience fresh and adaptable. 3. Experiment with language. Games, apps, and websites often have fun quizzes and interactive exercises that test your vocabulary and grammar. Even playing simple word puzzles or engaging in language challenges with friends can boost your learning. 4. Stay curious and ask questions. Whenever you encounter a new word or phrase, don't just gloss over it. Look it up, see how it's used in different contexts, and try to incorporate it into your conversations. Curiosity is a powerful catalyst for learning. 5. Track your progress. Keep a log of new words, phrases, or grammar points you learn each day. Not only does this serve as a record of your growth, but revisiting your log can be incredibly encouraging when you feel stuck. Personal anecdotes and moments of realization. Let me share a couple more personal stories that stand out from my 3-month journey. The aha moment. There was a particular day when I was watching an English talk show and the host mentioned a quirky expression. "It's raining cats and dogs." I laughed and paused the video. I replayed it several times until I could say it without stumbling. That moment was magical. It wasn't just about mimicking a phrase. It was about feeling the rhythm and humor of the language. I realized then that learning English wasn't just academic. It was also about connecting with the culture and the little jokes that make the language so vibrant. The day I realized I was thinking in English. I'll never forget the day when I caught myself thinking in English instead of my native language. I was at the grocery store, mentally listing the items I needed, and I didn't switch languages at all. It felt like a quiet victory, a sign that the language was starting to integrate into my daily life. Moments like these reaffirmed that my hard work was paying off, even if progress sometimes felt slow. The unexpected compliment. During a casual chat online, someone complimented my English. They said, "Your English is so natural. It feels like you were born speaking it." I was taken aback. Coming from someone who was also learning a language, that compliment boosted my confidence and validated all those late nights of practice. It taught me that genuine communication isn't about perfection. It's about connection. Overcoming setbacks and reinforcing self-belief. Even with the best strategies, there were setbacks. Some days, despite all my efforts, I just couldn't string a sentence together. Here's how I learned to handle those difficult moments. 1. Taking a step back. When frustration hit hard, I'd allow myself a short break, a walk outside, a quick chat with a friend in my native language, or even just a few minutes of meditation. Stepping away from the struggle helped me return with a clearer mind and renewed energy. 2. Revisiting old recordings. During tough times, I'd listen to my earlier recordings. Hearing my voice from weeks or months ago made me appreciate how much I had improved. It was a powerful reminder that setbacks are temporary and progress, however small, is still progress. 3. Sharing my struggles. I started a private blog where I documented my daily challenges and victories in English. Writing down my feelings helped me process my frustrations. Later on, when I revisited these posts, I could see the patterns and celebrate my resilience. It was incredibly cathartic and motivated me to keep going. Expanding my learning horizon beyond daily practice. After those 3 transformative months, I realized that learning doesn't stop at basic communication. It evolves into a lifelong exploration of language, culture, and self-expression. 1. Advancing to more complex conversations. At first, I kept my conversations simple, but as I grew more comfortable, I started challenging myself with complex topics. I joined online discussion groups and forums where debates and opinions were shared on everything from current events to art. And this was intimidating at first, but soon I found that discussing complex issues in English not only sharpened my language skills, but also broadened my perspective on the world. 2. Exploring different English accents and dialects. English is spoken in many different ways. I began to explore various accents and dialects, American, British, Australian, and even regional variations. I did this by watching movies, listening to podcasts from different regions, and mimicking the speakers. This exercise not only improved my listening skills, but also helped me appreciate the diversity within the language. It reminded me that there's no one correct way to speak English. It's about communication and connection. 3. Embracing advanced vocabulary and nuance. Once I was comfortable with everyday conversations, I started reading novels, newspapers, and even academic articles in English. This wasn't just about learning new words. How I learned English in 3 months. Without a teacher. It wasn't just about learning vocabulary or grammar. It was about understanding context, nuance, and the subtle differences between synonyms. Whenever I came across unfamiliar words, I'd write them down, look up their meanings, and then try using them in real sentences. Over time, this habit enriched my vocabulary and made my conversations more colorful, expressive, and precise. The role of technology in my learning journey. As I progressed, technology became my greatest ally. Here's how I used it. 1. Interactive language platforms. I joined platforms with interactive exercises, live chat sessions, and even virtual reality environments. These immersive tools forced me to think on my feet and adapt quickly, making my speaking more natural and fluid. Second, social media and real-time communication. I followed English-speaking influencers and content creators who shared advanced language tips. Engaging in live streams, Q&A sessions, and real-time comment threads pushed me to react fast, type quickly, and absorb the living language, full of slang, idioms, and authentic expression. Language exchange apps. Even after building solo confidence, I joined language exchange apps. I connected with native speakers who were learning my language. We set up video calls, played language games, and even debated random topics. It was more than learning. It felt like making friends across the world. Deepening. My connection with culture language isn't just about words. It's about culture, emotion, and shared experience. As my skills improved, I started immersing myself in the culture behind the language. 1. Watching movies and TV without subtitles. One huge milestone, watching a full movie without subtitles. At first, it was overwhelming. The fast speech, slang, cultural references, it felt impossible. But I paused, rewound, rewatched scenes, and even discussed them in forums. Gradually, I began to understand not just the words, but the humor, emotions, and stories. 2. Listening to audiobooks and podcasts. I dove into podcasts and audiobooks, true crime, self-help, storytelling, even comedy. Listening to native speakers narrate stories taught me natural rhythm, emotion, and intonation. It felt like sitting in a cozy room, sipping tea, listening to friends share their world. 3. Cooking with English recipes. One surprisingly fun method, cooking using English language recipes. I followed instructions, watched food vlogs, and read recipes online. Not only did I learn food-related vocabulary and measurements, but I also discovered the culinary traditions and cultural quirks of different English-speaking countries. Personal growth and future steps. This journey changed more than my English skills. It changed me. Developing a growth mindset. I learned to embrace mistakes. A mispronounced word, a misunderstood phrase, all of it became fuel. Every failure was a stepping stone, every challenge a hidden opportunity. 2. Finding joy in continuous learning. Even after I reached a comfortable level, I never stopped. There was always a new idiom, a cultural reference, or an advanced concept to explore. Learning became a lifestyle, not a destination. 3. Setting new goals. After those first 3 months, I didn't stop. I began setting bigger goals, debating complex topics, understanding literature, even writing short stories in English. These goals kept me growing, hungry, and excited. My advice to fellow language learners. Before I sign off, here are a few heartfelt lessons that helped me and might help you too. Celebrate every small win. Learned a new word? Amazing. Held a 2-minute conversation? Fantastic. Every step forward is progress. Keep a language journal. Write down phrases you love, mistakes you learned from, and little reflections. It's your personal story of growth. Don't fear silence. There will be times when words don't come. Don't panic. Take a breath. Gather your thoughts. It's all part of the journey. Engage with the community. Join online groups, forums, and live chats. Being part of a learning tribe gives you motivation, ideas, and support. Keep challenging yourself. Once you're comfortable, push further. Write essays, join debates, teach someone else. Teaching sharpens your own understanding. Final thoughts. Learning English in 3 months without a teacher was one of the most challenging and rewarding journeys of my life. It wasn't just about language. It was about discovering my voice, overcoming fear, and finding new parts of myself I never knew existed. Every awkward pause, every brave sentence, every joyful discovery was a step toward becoming a more confident, open, and connected version of me. So if you're just starting out or stuck somewhere in the middle, keep going. Be curious. Be fearless. Be kind to yourself. And most importantly, have fun. If this story inspired you, please like, comment, and subscribe. Share your own journey, your struggles, your victories, your dreams. We're all learning, and together, we grow faster. Thank you for being part of my story. Now go and write yours. Advanced Strategies for Real-World English Fluency, Part 2 of my English journey without a teacher. I'm excited to continue sharing my journey of learning English without a teacher. In this next chapter, I want to dive into some advanced strategies, offer real-life experiences, and give you practical tools for when you're ready to take your skills to the next level. Once I had built a solid foundation, English became more than just small talk. It became about engaging deeply with the language, in both life and learning. Here's how I leveled up. 1. Immersive content consumption. I started consuming content that challenged me. It wasn't just movies and sitcoms anymore. I tuned into news channels, political debates, science documentaries, thought-provoking podcasts. This exposed me to varied accents, complex vocabulary, and diverse speaking styles. I followed topics I was passionate about: tech innovation, global issues, psychology, which made learning feel exciting and relevant. Instead of memorizing words, I was understanding perspectives, and that changed everything. 2. Reflective discussions. One of the most powerful shifts in my fluency came from participating in online discussions. I joined forums, clubhouse talks, and Reddit threads where people were sharing bold ideas and asking deep questions. At first, I was nervous. Expressing myself on complex topics felt intimidating, but slowly I learned how to build coherent arguments, defend my views with clarity, listen, reflect, and respond thoughtfully. This process made me not just fluent, but intellectually engaged in English. It sharpened both my language and my thinking. 3. Writing for real audiences. When I started writing blog posts, short stories, and opinion pieces in English, it pushed me in a whole new way. I could experiment with advanced vocabulary, get feedback from real readers, see my progress and areas for improvement. Then I took it one step further. I recorded myself reading my own writing out loud. It helped me fine-tune pronunciation, delivery, and even emotional expression. Writing made my English not just correct, but compelling. Navigating professional and social life in English. As my English improved, I found myself using it more naturally in both professional and personal spaces. That was a huge leap. Point 1. Networking and professional communication. I began attending virtual webinars, networking events, and industry meetups, all in English, introducing myself, asking questions, following up with thoughtful emails. That's when I realized professional English isn't about big words. It's about clear, confident communication. I even created elevator pitches and practiced how to talk about my background, my work, and my passions in a concise, fluent way. 2. Socializing and building friendships. One of the most joyful rewards of learning English was being able to connect with people from different cultures. I joined hobby-based communities, English book clubs, cooking groups, even public speaking circles. These weren't just language exercises, they were real friendships. I learned how to make small talk, how to understand humor, how to use expressions that don't appear in textbook. This made my English feel human, warm, funny, and full of life. Cultural integration through travel and imagination. Although I haven't traveled much yet, I virtually explored the world. I watched travel vlogs and documentaries, took virtual tours of museums and cities, listened to locals share their traditions and stories. This taught me more than vocabulary. It gave me a cultural lens. I could now feel the language, not just understand it. When the time comes to travel, I know my English will help me truly connect, not just communicate. Overcoming advanced challenges. Even when you reach a higher level, the challenges don't disappear. They just evolve. Here are a few I faced and how I overcame them. 1. Tackling complex jargon and slang. Once you get past basic conversation, you start hearing niche language, technical terms, slang, regional idioms. At first, it's overwhelm, but I trained myself to meet these words with curiosity, not fear. I kept a special jargon journal, used apps like Youglish or LingQ to hear real-life usage. Asked native speakers for explanations in forums. I discovered that understanding jargon often meant understanding a profession, a culture, or a mindset. It became not just about the words, but about stepping into someone else's world. More sections can follow, such as dealing with self-doubt, learning humor and sarcasm, refining pronunciation, etc., if you'd like to continue. Would you like me to help you with turning this into a YouTube script or voiceover script, creating carousel-style Instagram posts from key lessons, drafting the next section, Emotional Challenges and Breakthroughs, Advanced English Mastery, Real Fluency Without a Teacher. Part 2 of my personal journey. Welcome back. In this part of my story, I want to take you deeper. After building a strong foundation in English, my journey shifted from basic survival skills to true fluency, the kind that helps you think, speak, and express yourself freely, even in complex situations. Let's explore some of the advanced strategies, real-life challenges, and mindset shifts that helped me keep growing without a teacher. Advanced challenges and how I overcame them. Tackling complex jargon and slang. As I ventured into deeper conversations, I began encountering specialized vocabulary, from business to medicine to pop culture. At first, it felt overwhelming, but instead of avoiding these terms, I embraced the challenge. I researched the background of the jargon, observed how it was used in real context, and then used it in my own writing and speaking. Sometimes I'd watch expert interviews or read niche articles just to understand how these words functioned. It took effort, but it paid off. My vocabulary expanded, and my confidence soared. 2. Handling fast-paced conversations. One of my biggest struggles was keeping up with rapid dialogue, especially in fast-paced movies or live discussions. Here's how I trained myself. Watched content at slower speeds, then gradually increased it. Practiced shadowing, listening to a sentence and instantly repeating it. Focused on intonation, rhythm, and natural flow. This helped me train my ears, sharpen my reactions, and sound more natural in real-time conversations. 3. Managing language anxiety in high-stakes situations. Using English in job interviews or serious meetings was intimidating. I used to freeze up or doubt myself. So I prepared, role-played scenarios and rehearsed key phrases, practiced in front of a mirror, wrote out possible answers in advance. These small steps helped me stay calm, focused, and professional. Over time, I realized that preparation builds confidence, and confidence reduces anxiety. Integrating feedback for continuous growth. Even after reaching a good level of fluency, I never stopped learning. Feedback became one of my most powerful tools. 1. Self-assessment through recording. I continue to record my voice, even at advanced stages. Why? Because listening back helped me. Catch small pronunciation errors, notice patterns I wanted to change, reflect on my tone and pacing. Over time, these recordings became my personal progress journal, a living reminder of how far I'd come. 2. Peer reviews and constructive criticism. I joined advanced language groups where native speakers and other serious learners could give feedback, whether through blog comments, live conversation sessions, critiques on my writing or speaking. Every piece of feedback became a stepping stone. I learned that constructive criticism doesn't mean you're failing, it means you're improving. 3. Setting incremental challenges. To keep pushing myself, I set personal challenges. Join a live debate. Write an essay on a complex topic. Deliver a short presentation in English. Each challenge took me out of my comfort zone, but each one brought new confidence and proof of progress. That's the key. Growth is uncomfortable, but it's always worth it. Q&A. Your questions answered. I love reading your comments and messages. Here are some of the most common questions, and my honest answers. Q. How did you stay motivated when progress felt slow? A. Trust me. There were many days I felt stuck. On those days, I celebrated small wins, understanding a tricky idiom. Finishing a podcast episode. Holding a 5-minute conversation without panicking, I'd revisit old recordings and see just how far I had come. Those little reminders kept me going. Q. What if I feel embarrassed about making mistakes? A. We've all been there. Mistakes are not failures. They're proof you're trying. Laugh at them. Learn from them. Keep going. Remember this. Every expert was once a beginner. Q. How can I balance learning with a busy schedule? A. The key is consistency. Even 15 minutes a day can create massive change. Listen to podcasts while cooking. Watch English videos during your commute. Make English a part of your daily rhythm, not just a task. Q. Can technology replace a teacher? A. In many ways, yes. No app can replace human connection or mentorship entirely, but technology gives us freedom. With apps, videos, forums, and AI tools, you can create a custom learning journey designed for your needs, your schedule, and your goals. Final reflections and encouragement. Learning English without a teacher has been one of the most empowering experiences of my life. It taught me this truth. The best teacher is often already inside you. Our curiosity, your persistence, your courage to keep showing up, these are the real tools of transformation. No matter where you are right now, keep going. Every word you learn, every conversation you attempt, every mistake you make is making you stronger, clearer, and more confident. Closing message and call to action. Here's what I want to leave you with. Stay curious. Keep exploring new ideas and expressions. 3. Be patient. This isn't a race. It's a lifelong journey. Be consistent. A little practice each day makes a big difference. Believe in yourself. Your effort matters. Your growth is real.